This was not easy for Team USA. Team USA flopped in its first game of the Olympic Tokyo Games, falling to France 83-76. France was led by NBA players Evan Fournier and Rudy Gobert, while the U.S. got a combined 21 points from Damian Lillard and Kevin Durant, who both fouled out. The loss is the first for the U.S. men at an Olympics since 2004. The team will look to rebound from today's defeat when it takes Iran on Wednesday in another pool play game. We welcome in NBA analyst Tim Legler once again. Team USA, of course, is dealing with new players, these guys that haven't played together before. They're also playing on limited practice time. Some just flew in off of the NBA Finals. How does this team improve this chemistry, Tim?
Well, it's tough because, listen, one of the problems that Team USA deals with is when you throw together a group of basically all-stars, their roles are completely different than what they are playing for their teams in the NBA. And as a result, you could see it in the way the two teams played today, the difference. Evan Fournier was the guy that was clearly the focal point for Team France. So he gets 22 shots. He gets into a rhythm. He feels like he's playing in an NBA game. For Team USA, it's a little bit different. You go long stretches without getting touches or shots. The only player on their roster that really had a run of rhythm was Drew Holiday at the beginning of the fourth quarter when he had a little individual run that got Team USA that big lead there late. But for the most part, it's a bunch of guys trying to figure out how to accept a different role, play together on the fly. Very difficult. They also, Ash, they have lost that awe factor. And when they played these teams in the past, typically that awe factor was worth 10, 15, 20 points. These teams now are not really intimidated because they have a lot of NBA players on their roster. They're used to seeing these guys throughout the course of an NBA regular season and even a postseason, so they're not really intimidated. They believe they can go out there and they can operate and they can play well. But for me, the biggest factor of all was the fact that the French team looked like a normal basketball team with a pecking order offensively, other guys filling roles. For Team USA, it's really a my turn, your turn type of offensive flow, and that's going to create some problems. They will get better each and every day of this tournament. The longer they're together, the more time they have together. You had some guys that just joined the team, haven't even practiced with them yet, really, coming from the NBA Finals. Once they incorporate everybody day after day and get a little bit more sense of desperation defensively, I think you're going to see Team USA continue to get stronger and stronger. Certainly, they should win their next two pool games without a problem. And then you get into that single elimination format where they will be tested in trying to win a gold medal.
Yes, certainly. I mean, you talk about what France did so well and how their scoring was just evenly balanced and it was working together. They finished the game on a 16-2 run. I mean, that's how you close out a game. How does USA combat when other teams are doing things like that? What do they improve on when really a team is just dominating one side of the game like that?
I think a couple of things they need to rely on. First is they need to understand that there's more to the game than the three-point line. And if you take a look at the way they closed it out, there were possessions when it looked like they were hunting the three-point shot. And I think they're going to serve themselves well by understanding they're going to be able to beat their man off the dribble pretty much any time they want to. Play some more drive and kick game. Get into the mid-range area of the floor. Get to the rim. Don't fall in love with the three-point shot. That's not necessarily the strength of this team. And if they do that, I think they're going to be in good shape. Because I don't think that these teams are going to be able to keep Team USA in front of them off the dribble, but they really got away from that as they got deeper into this game and they settled. I think oftentimes, even if it's an open shot, I think it's a settle sometimes because they can beat their man off the dribble, dominate the mid-range area of the floor, and get to the rim. And I think the other thing, defensively, they need to understand their athletic ability is their biggest asset. Their quickness, their length, their ability to recover, their ability to guard the three-point line. That you only saw one real desperate spurt out of this team, and it was at the start of the fourth quarter. And it ended up getting them a 7-point lead. Now, they weren't able to close the deal late. Their offense really let them down. But I think that desperation needs to start with the opening tip and understand they're going to have to work for 4 quarters against these teams. But ultimately, their speed should be something that disrupts any team's ability to run their offense. France looked very comfortable the entire game, particularly when the game was on the line. That's when they looked their most at ease, and as a result, they get the win.
Yeah, as you mentioned, that desperation. We're going to see that on display, no doubt about it, Wednesday when Team USA plays Iran. Tim Legler, thank you for helping us make sense of something that I think all of us were looking at like, what is going on?